So let's be honest with each other. How many times have you started some new routine on a Monday, full of energy, only to find yourself right back at square one by, like, Thursday? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you that building habits that actually stick, I mean, truly unbreakable ones, isn't about trying harder, it's about working with your brain's own biology. Today, we are stripping away all the fluff and diving straight into the actual science of how to be consistent.
So why do we quit? It's so easy to blame ourselves, right? We say we don't have enough willpower, or our schedule is just too crazy. But the real reason we fail is actually much, much simpler. We're using the wrong system. Seriously, the problem isn't you, it's the blueprint you've been following. And today, we're going to hand you a new one.
Okay, let's just get right into it. If you want to build a habit that sticks, the very first thing we have to do is understand why our old attempts just fell apart. And it all starts with this massive, super common misunderstanding about how our own motivation actually works.
You know, most of us think of willpower as this heroic, limitless force we can just summon on demand. But it's not. In fact, psychologists have a name for this. They call it ego depletion. The easiest way to think about it is like your phone's battery. Every single decision you make all day, what to wear, what to eat, resisting that extra cookie, it drains a little bit of that battery. So, if your new habit depends on willpower alone, it is guaranteed to fail the second you have a stressful day and your battery hits zero.
And here's where it gets really, really cool. Your brain is actually hardwired to be efficient. It's lazy in the best way possible. It desperately wants to move tasks from your prefrontal cortex, that's the part that burns a ton of energy making hard decisions, over to the basal ganglia. Think of the basal ganglia as your brain's autopilot center. It's where all your habits live. So our job isn't to fight our brain, it's to just help it make that transfer.
So how do we actually do that? How do we make that transfer happen? Well, we use a simple framework that scientists have found behind every single habit you have, whether it's good or bad. It's a 4-step loop, and once you get this, you can literally start to engineer any behavior you want.
This loop has 4 simple parts. First, there's a cue. That's the trigger that tells your brain to get started. That leads to a craving, which is the motivation or the desire for something. Then comes the response. That's the actual habit itself. And finally, you get a reward. That little payoff that tells your brain, hey, that was good. Remember this. Let's do it again.
And look how simple this can be. Let's say you want to start running. For the cue, you make it ridiculously obvious. Put your running shoes right by your bed so you basically trip over them in the morning. For the craving, you make it attractive. Maybe you only let yourself listen to your absolute favorite podcast while you're running. For the response, you make it impossibly easy. Don't aim for a 5K, just run for 2 minutes. And for the reward, make it satisfying. The second you're done, you get that little hit of dopamine from checking a box on your habit tracker. Now, hacking that loop is incredibly powerful. But for a change that is truly long-term, like unbreakable, we've got to go one level deeper. And this next part, this is really the secret sauce. It's about shifting your focus from what you do to who you are.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The single most profound way to change your habits is to stop focusing on what you want to achieve and start focusing on the person you want to become. It seems like such a small shift in language, but I promise you, it changes absolutely everything. I mean, just look at the difference in this mindset. An outcome-based goal is, I want to write a book. Okay, fine. But the identity-based version is, I am a writer. One is a temporary project you're working on. The other, that's who you are. Every single time you write even one sentence, you're not just working on your book, you're casting a vote for your new identity as a writer.
And here's the magic. When your actions line up with the person you believe you are, you stop needing motivation. You don't have to rely on willpower anymore. The behavior just feels natural because you're simply being you.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But where do we actually start? How do we get over that initial hump when it's a cold morning and you just don't feel like it? Well, this brings us to a super simple, practical rule that you can start using the literal second this explainer is over. 2 minutes. That's it. That is the magic number to get started and to build unstoppable momentum. I know it sounds way too simple to possibly work, but trust me, its real power is hidden in that simplicity. So here's the rule, plain and simple. Any new habit you start has to take less than 2 minutes to actually do. See, the goal here isn't to get amazing results on day one. The real goal is to master the art of just showing up. You're not trying to build the entire habit yet, you're just building the tiny little ritual that comes right before it.
So read every night feels like this big, intimidating goal, but read one page, that's a 2-minute action. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. Run 3 miles becomes just put on my running shoes. You're making it so easy that it actually feels harder to say no than it does to just do it.
All right, we've covered the why, we've covered the how, and we have the strategy. Now it is time to actually do something. This isn't just something to watch. Think of this as day 1 of your new journey. Let's make this real.
So right now, I have a direct challenge for you. Think of that one habit you really want to build. Now, what is the 2-minute version of it? What is that tiny little gateway action that you can commit to starting today? And I actually want you to go down to the comments right now and write it down. Declare your one tiny 2-minute habit to the world, because by putting it out there, you're making a public commitment. We're trying to build a community here of people who are just tired of that start and stop cycle, and we can all be there to keep each other going.
Let's end on this really powerful idea. It was never about having bigger goals or finding more motivation. True, lasting change, it just comes from building better systems that make your success the easiest possible choice.
So the final question for you isn't what are you going to achieve, it's who will you become. Every little 2-minute action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. It's time to start casting those votes.